Frameworks for ethical decision-making. Most ethical dilemmas involve a conflict between the needs of the part and the whole, the individual versus the organization, or the organization versus society as a whole. For example, should a company scrutinize job candidates or employees' social media postings, which might benefit the organization as a whole, but reduce the individual freedom of employees? Or should products that fail to meet tough Food and Drug Administration (FDA) standards be exported to other countries, where government standards are lower, benefiting the company but potentially harming world citizens? Sometimes ethical decisions entail a conflict between two groups. For example, should the potential for local health problems resulting from a company's effluence take precedence over the jobs it creates as the town's leading employer? Managers faced with these kinds of tough ethical choices often benefit from a normative strategy, one based on norms and values, to guide their decision-making. Normative ethics uses several approaches to describe values for guiding ethical decision-making. 5 approaches that are relevant to managers are the Utilitarian Approach, Individualism Approach, Moral Rights Approach, Justice Approach, and Practical Approach. Utilitarian Approach. The utilitarian approach, espoused by the 19th-century philosophers Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, holds that moral behavior produces the greatest good for the greatest number. Under this approach, a decision-maker is expected to consider the effect of each decision alternative on all parties and select the one that optimizes the benefits for the greatest number of people. The utilitarian ethic is cited as the basis for the recent trend among companies to monitor employee use of the internet and police personal habits such as alcohol and tobacco consumption, because such behavior affects the entire workplace. Individualism Approach. The individualism approach contends that acts are moral when they promote the individual's best long-term interests. In theory, with everyone pursuing self-direction, the greater good is ultimately served because people learn to accommodate each other in their own long-term interest. Individualism is believed to lead to honesty and integrity because that works best in the long run. Lying and cheating for immediate self-interest just causes business associates to lie and cheat in return. Thus, proponents say, individualism ultimately leads to behavior toward others that fits standards of behavior that people want toward themselves. However, because individualism is easily misinterpreted to support immediate self-gain, it is not popular in the highly organized and group-oriented society of today. Moral Rights Approach. The moral rights approach asserts that human beings have fundamental rights and liberties that cannot be taken away by an individual's decision. Thus, an ethically correct decision is one that best maintains the rights of those affected by it. To make ethical decisions, managers need to avoid interfering with the fundamental rights of others, such as the right to privacy, the right of free consent, or the right to freedom of speech. Performing experimental.